Hello, everybody, to today's Trailblazer Community Group meeting, where we will talk about some of the most popular marketing clouds, AppExchange applications. Today's meeting is organized by the local Salesforce Marketing Cloud Group in Warsaw, in Poland, which I have a privilege to be a leader of. As the meeting is attended by people who have a different level of expertise in marketing cloud, I thought that it would be good to give a very quick overview of the AppExchange. So the AppExchange is like an app store or Google Play designed specifically for the Salesforce ecosystem. It contains hundreds and thousands of applications. In case of marketing cloud, we have almost 60 different solutions that you can use to extend Salesforce Marketing Cloud, and you can install those with just a few clicks. The applications are both free and paid, so I believe everybody can find something suitable for your cases. And among the most popular applications, we have Deselect, SalesWings, and Bynder, and we invited representatives of these companies for today's meeting, so that they could share the insights on their solutions. The general approach to the presentation is to present the solution, then present how it can be integrated with Marketing Cloud. So what are the benefits of using it together with Marketing Cloud? And we will also have some space for Q&A. So if you have any questions, please raise your hands so that our guest speakers can respond to them. The agenda is as follows. It was shared already on the landing page and in the emails. We will start with Deselect, then after half an hour we will proceed to SalesWings, and at the end we will have our guest speaker from Bynder. So that's the general agenda. Now, maybe without any further ado, let's welcome our first guest speaker, Gregory. I will now stop sharing and allow you to share your screen.
Thank you very much, Maciek, and thanks for inviting us for today's meetup. It's a pleasure presenting today. And in this case, I will share my screen and start the presentation. Yep. Can you please let me know if you can see it?
Yes, we can see it.
All right, great. Then, okay, then we can start. Good evening, everyone. I will start by showing you the presentation of Deselect, which was an AppExchange solution. And I will probably start by just explaining that we are a fully integrated solution into Salesforce Marketing Cloud that enables marketers to segment their audience without writing any SQL queries. So we provide drag and drop segmentation solution for SFMC. And I would like also to share an update about one of our products, that's Deselect Search. And well, basically, it's a free Chrome extension that helps you to quickly find your objects in SFMC org. We have lots of existing users, and it's not limited only to the objects in, let's say, certain studios. You can search across studios. You can find objects such as SQL queries, content builder assets, and other activities in Email Studio, for instance. I think I can drop the link into the chat in case you would like to explore it on the Chrome store. But I will also share this presentation with Maciek afterwards in case you would like to check it out.
Sure.
All right. Then let's proceed. And I would like to say a few words about the reason why Deselect exists. So we noticed that our customers face the following business challenges. And I should say that there is a true champion here, which is a lack of SQL knowledge for audience segmentation. Most marketers teams lack the SQL expertise in their teams, and that leads to poor targeting and personalization as a result, because well, actually up to 70% of brands fail to use and scale personalization in the emails. Also, a lot of time being spent on data management, and also that increases the campaign lead time. So That's why Deselect helps to segment and manage all the data in your SFMC account without writing any code. There are three, let's say, main advantages of the solution. First off, it's fully integrated into Marketing Cloud. So that means that from the security point of view, no data leaves Salesforce Marketing Cloud in order to be segmented. We do not store customer data on our servers. Then secondly, it's drag and drop. So we do not expect our users to know, write, or edit SQL queries in any way. And lastly, it's plug and play. So from the implementation point of view, there is no implementation track. It can be installed in about 30 minutes. So here we come to the benefits that you can expect. And the benefits are, first off, you can play with SQL functionality without writing any code. So you can create advanced segments with ease. You can increase the marketing efficiency at least for 50%, focus on the right audience, and deliver personalization at scale for your targeted campaigns, which of course also minimizes the time spent on creating the marketing campaign and running it. But I suggest that we can have a quick look on Deselect, and I include a short demo of the solution. Then I will switch to my Salesforce Marketing Cloud demo account. Okay. And I would like to start by navigating to the Marketing Cloud homepage. So since we are an AppExchange solution, you can find Deselect segment under the AppExchange button here. And once you press Deselect, you will end up in the Deselect dashboard. So here, you can see all the selections created in the current business unit. And all of the selections can be structured on the left side of the screen using the folder structure. For example, I create them by our customers' industries, but you can create as many folders as needed by departments, by features, by, let's say, the marketing campaign types, etc. And then you also can have a list of all the selections created in this view or in a certain folder. So you can see that each selection has some information about it. Such as records, last modified by, last run log, if it's scheduled, if it's template, and you can also see that we can copy and delete each of the selections. By the way, for the copying of the selections, you can copy this either to the same business unit or push it to other business units in case, let's say, in case the segmentation strategy is centralized and we are talking about enterprise customers. Then there's also a link to the Deselect admin panel and the support portal, which I will talk about later. But just to show you the segmentation process in Deselect, and I would like to highlight that it consists of 3 easy steps. First off, that's the selection criteria, where we select our source data extensions and apply some filters. Secondly, we will choose the target definition or target data extension, or we can create a new one on the go. And lastly, we will do the preview to check if everything works as expected. So I will first give our selection a name, and let's call it as Meetup Selection Example. And I will start with the available data extensions box. So one of the advantages of using Deselect is that you can have access to all the data extensions that are available to the current Marketing Cloud user. And when I say all data extensions, I mean synchronized, shared, standard data extensions, and even the data views such as open, click, send, etc. I will start with the data extension accounts and drop it on top of the selected data extensions. And at this point, I will provide it with an alias. So alias is just a shorter name of your data extension that never changes the original DE name. And then we can quickly add some more data extensions there. I can also take contacts and drop it on top of the accounts. We'll also add an alias here. And at this point, the magic for non-technical marketers happens. So we can define a relationship based on these 3 fields. However, as I mentioned in the beginning, as a Deselect admin, you can predefine the relationships between data extensions in advance. This would reflect at some point the relationships that you can create in Contact Builder in the attribute groups. Once this is defined in the admin panel, well, you can just choose the data relationship type, or you may also see some similarities between the join types. So we do support all types of the relationships, being the exclusions, as well as the left and right joins, and which are supported by this diagram to see which part of the audience we are targeting. But as you can see, fields are set according to a predefined relation, so we do not need to select the fields manually. And I will just add one more data extension on top of the contacts DE, and I will also provide it with an alias. This data relationship is also predefined, so I will just click Save and proceed as is. So I added 3 data extensions and I created 2 data relationships, but I want to highlight that there is no limit on the number of data extensions or data relationships that you can create. And then we can proceed to the filters. And I should say that filters in Deselect are also way more advanced than in Salesforce Marketing Cloud. For example, we can apply the simple filters based on the fields from the data extensions, but we can also apply the related records or advanced filters. So I will take an example of the type field from the accounts data extension and drop it to the filters section. So for those who already worked with Sales Cloud, you may recognize the pick list feature here. So we implemented the drop-down list or pick lists in Marketing Cloud as well. So there is no need to type your the filter values manually. Instead, you can just open the drop-down list and select one or multiple values from the list that was scanned by Deselect in advance. Also, these pick lists are searchable, so you can find the needed value in case you have more than 100 different values, then it saves a lot of time. Okay. Then another example of advanced filters can be the date filter. And we can look on the, for example, based on the birthday field. So the date can be either linked to the certain calendar date or it can be relative date. And when we are using the relative date, you can actually choose if the date should be in previous or in next, before or on, after or on, between, not between, and etc. dates. So for instance, a good example could be if, let's say, if you take a B2C example, if you want to find the orders that were done in the past 3 months, you can just choose the filter in previous, 3 quarters, years, months, etc. And then we will find orders done within the last quarter. Or in my case, that's birthday, but it can work with any date filter. Okay. And I will also add one more filter from the related records. So related records represent more advanced filters since they always relate to another data extension. This also should be predefined once by the admin, and once done, then you can see that, for example, accounts data extension is linked to contacts, to opportunities, to contracts, data extensions, etc. We can look on the related records to the contacts data extension, and let's still follow the B2C example. Let's say I want to find contacts that have at least one order. The related records gives the possibility to apply aggregations and calculations to the filters. For instance, I can calculate the total count of orders per contact, or I can calculate how many orders each of the customers had. I can define that I want to find only those contacts who made at least 3 orders, or exactly 3 orders, less than, or no orders at all. But you can also apply average, sum, minimum, and maximum values. So if you want to calculate the total lifetime value of your customer, then you can get the sum of the amount fields of all the orders done by every contact. So let's take it as at least 50 years. And you can apply the same for the data views. So you can count how many times a person opened an email or clicked a link in a certain email. Okay. All right, so that's what you can do in the first step. I will proceed further to the second one. And here in the target definition step, you can either use an existing target data extension, or we can create a new one on the go. So I will create a new data extension here to save some time. And first of all, I will give our target data extension a name. Let's name it Meetup Data Extension example. Then you can define the location for your target data extension, if it should be sendable, testable, and data retention policy. At this point, you can configure your target data extension either by dragging and dropping the fields to the target DE, or you can actually click add all fields, and all the fields from your source data extension will be added and mapped automatically. So it also saves a lot of time due to the absence of the need to define the field types, name, lengths, primary keys, and default values. All these fields can be changed in case of need, but by default, they would have the same parameters as they had in the source data extension. Right. Then the next step would be to personalize our target data extension with the custom values. And I would like to show some of the custom values. Of course, I will not cover all of them today, but we can take a simple example based on the salutation field. So if I want to apply the salutation, which is fixed or can be applied to everyone, then the fixed salutation can be dear. So this value will be assigned to every record. But when we want to make it dynamic or based on some criteria, then you can go to the dynamic values and define the following criteria here. So let's say when gender equals male, then salutation should be Mr. Another criteria, when gender equals female, then salutation should be Miss. Otherwise, if gender has another value or is not specified, then the default value would be dear. As long as you can predefine these values, and of course I used only one rule, but you can use as many rules as needed, this new field can be added to the target data extension. So now this will be the new field that can be used in the data extension, in Email Studio, in Journey Builder, in Automation Studio, anywhere. And we also support the formulas and aggregations that we will not review today, but also it's very helpful to modify your data and, for example, change the time zone according to the campaign for the customers that you are about to send. Okay. Then I will save the target data extension. At this point, it's generated and saved in your Salesforce Marketing Cloud account. And we can also check that now you can apply the prior deduplication settings, and you can also sort and limit your audience. Well, for the prior deduplication, this feature helps a lot to avoid sending multiple emails to the same customer. So for example, if let's say I expect to have some duplicates for email fields. So let's take an example that Gregory submitted 3 form submissions, but as a marketer, you want to target only the last form submission submitted by Gregory. Then we can say that the email field should be unique, and the deduplication logic should be based on a certain field. So let's say if there are multiple submissions by Gregory, let's take only the one where the main contact field equals true. So for others, we will deduplicate and remove them. So it can be based on one rule, but you can also sort the values. Let's say if there are multiple values for the date field, you can take the most recent submission. So in that case, you need to use the submission date or any other field. We also support advanced deduplication based on the cascade rules, where you can use more fields to identify it. Okay, so that's what you can do to deduplicate your records. You can set the rules on how to remove duplicates from your target data extension. And this is what you can do in the second step. So we just created a new target data extension. We added the fields from our source DEs, and we also added a custom value based on a certain logic. Then the next step would be to proceed to the last step of the selection creation process, which is called preview. And here there's only one button available. You can click run preview, and you will see our slide in Penguin, which means that your preview is being generated. Now, the preview will show an example of 20 records out of the total number of records. And there's also a good indication of your total audience size. And if you made any, let's say, if your selection is not accurate, you want to change some criteria, you can always get back to one of these two steps and apply some changes. So we can see an example here. There's the new field that we have just generated. It's populated with the right values. And this would be the total audience count. You can also see what is the SQL query generated in the backend. So this would be the query that you need to write if you want to get the same results in Automation Studio. Right? And then as a next step, you can either save the selection as a template. In this case, other users will be able to reuse it later, and they will be able to copy it, but not to modify. So you will remain the template owner in this case. The selection can be scheduled to run once, of course, in the right time zone, or it can be repeated hourly, daily, weekly, or monthly. Or you can actually save it as a draft or run once, and in this case, it will populate your target data extension. So this is what I wanted to show in the process of the selection creation process. The next step would be, or let's say what you can also do with all the selections generated in Deselect. You can schedule them, you can run them one by one, or if you want to, let's say, run them as a sequence, so to schedule selection to run one after another, you can also look into the waterfall selections. Well, the waterfall selections can be done, we can see them as an example here. So one of the use cases for the waterfall selections is basically the identifying several target groups for our audience. For instance, let's say I have the database with all the customers, but then I want to find only the customers in EMEA. As a next step, I want to know how many customers stay in EMEA Central. And also the last step would be calculating the total amount of customers in Eastern Europe. So then I have these three selections scheduled to run one after another. And whenever I click run, then you will have this waterfall selection showing the results of each of the steps, and it will write the results of each of the selections into three separate target data extensions. And it also gives you a good overview of your audience selection sizes. Right? And of course, you can also schedule the waterfall selection as well. Yeah. So this is what I wanted to show you in the demo part. By the way, if there are any questions or feedback, please feel free to send it into the chat. And I still have a couple of more slides to show. So this presentation will be shared. You can read some customer reviews about Deselect in case you prefer. But also we have the SFMC taught a leadership blog where you can read some more advices on how to segment your data in certain industries, also how to perform, for example, RFM analysis, and many other useful resources. I will also share the link in the chat after this presentation. On top of the subscription, of course, our customers get the link to the support portal. You can read there how to use Deselect. You can check the release updates and get the demo data package pretty similar to what I used today. So you can also play with data a bit. And they also included some resources here. So you can visit our website, check what are the features of Deselect segment, check the release updates, thought leadership, support portal. And there are two links for the partners, and for those who would be interested in the content collaboration. And actually, there's one more thing. Well, we are launching our second product recently, so it's planned to run in April, called Deselect Connect, and it will help to integrate third-party sources into Salesforce Marketing Cloud without using the API, without writing the API code. So it will help to connect all the data sources into Marketing Cloud, and then Deselect segment can segment it to provide customers with personalized journeys. So that's coming soon. And that's I wanted to show you today. I don't know, Maciek, do you or anyone else in the chat have any questions?
Yeah, I mean, I have some, but we are running out of time. So if you have any, please share them in the chat. Maybe Gregory can still answer them. If not, maybe Gregory, the one question which every, I would say, salesperson would like to hear: what's your pricing model? What's your approach to licenses? Can you share this like in a minute?
That's a good question indeed. I can share that the price for Deselect depends on 3 criteria. First off, the price depends on the Deselect edition, and I can actually go to the website to show it. First of all, it depends on the edition of Deselect, and we have 3 editions: Enable, Plus, and Advanced. The difference between edition lies in the features that you can use in each of them. That I will open it now. And 2 other criteria are the number of the business units that Deselect should be installed in, and the number of user licenses that should have access to Deselect.
So you can select the number of business units that you would like to install Deselect on, right?
Sure, yeah. You can choose what should be the number of business units that Deselect should be installed into. And there's also one important note about the user licenses. So we count users as a unique person. So basically, if let's say Maciek would be the user in 3 business units in the Deselect, for us, it will be still counted as 1 user. So it's not user accounts, but like 1 user, like as a person.
Sure. Good to know that. So, Gregory, thank you very much for this really comprehensive and concise presentation. It was very informative. The presentation we will share afterwards. Of course, there is going to be recording of this meeting, which we'll publish and include in the event summary. So this will be available to you, but also to other people who are interested in the topic. You can always replay it and contact Gregory in case you have any questions.
Certainly. Right, then I will stop sharing, and thanks a lot, Maciek. Thank you for inviting us today, and thanks everyone for following the presentation. Thank
you very much. So now I would like to invite Davide. Davide, you should already be, promote the panelist. So you should already be among our panelists now. Gregory, I will remove you the privilege. So Davide, are you here with us?
Hello.
Hello. So the stage is yours. If you could present the SalesWings, that would be perfect.
Great. Well, thank you, first of all, for the opportunity. And let me share my screen. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, great. So I will briefly present SalesWings and then jump into a demo. Hopefully, I will leave some minutes for questions and answers. So yeah, I am planning to present. 1 second. Yeah, exactly. This is the right presentation. To present about 15 minutes what we do, and then jump into the demo. We are SalesWings, an ISV partner of Salesforce, natively integrated with Marketing Cloud and Sales Cloud. And we are a Swiss company based in Lausanne. We have been around for 6 years now. starting in almost 7, starting in 2015. We have a global customer base. We are very proud to have important customers among our customer base. Our solution is not a vertical solution for a specific sector, but we work in different sectors, from manufacturing to automotive and life science, banking and finance. I will have a slide about that. From medium to very big enterprises. And well, for who wants to read, you can go to Capterra, G2, AppExchange, and our retention rate is very high. This is our main metric. And yeah, if you want to read what our customers think about us, I think it's better than what I can say. So what does SalesWing do? So in general, we are able to provide insights and collect data and provide data in a meaningful way about the customer journey and the digital customer journey in particular. So we know that more and more customers and prospects, leads for the matter, they want to look for information autonomously online in any sector. We do the same in our private life. And they decide let's say they run through their customer journey autonomously more than what they used to do some years ago. And it's hard to take control of this part of the process before the salespeople are engaged with the prospect. What we do is actually our solution is built on 3 main pillars. The first one being data collection. Okay, so we start collecting data when the customer is anonymous, and what we do is lead management, lead tracking, and lead scoring for Salesforce Marketing Cloud and Salesforce main Sales Cloud. This is our main focus. About tracking lead behavior on the website, we are able to go in detail. So first of all, even if the user is anonymous, we are able to understand the lead source. So using UTMs and using our native Google Tag Manager integration, we are able to understand what again, the source for that specific user is. So it can be a Google organic search, it can be also a paid advertising campaign, or a referral from another website, or any other lead source. Then when they land on the website, we track what they do. So again, using our script and Google Tag Manager GTM integration, we understand what they visit, if they watch a video, if they download something, how much they scroll down a page, if they leave a window open, and any other interest signals. At this moment, we are not able to use our data. Okay, data is anonymous, but as soon as we identify the user, we are able to provide value for Salesforce users in a meaningful and easy to use way. So we have 2 ways to identify the users. The first way is when a user clicks through a click-through from a Marketing Cloud campaign. So when they click on a link from a Marketing Cloud campaign and they land on the website, thanks to our native integration with Marketing Cloud, we're able to identify who that user is. Another way is when they download something, giving the email. So if they subscribe to the newsletter, or if they complete a form in the customer's website, then that match is done, and we are able to match back what that user was doing when he or she was anonymous. We do all of that using first-party cookies. Then, of course, I'm sure there will be some questions, and we can speak more about how we do it and how we merge different cookies with the same identity, different emails with the same identity, because we're able to do that as well. But the second pillar, so we collected data, we identified the user, and now it starts to be very interesting, I think. So we start profiling and qualifying the user in a meaningful way. What it means is, first of all, well, this is just an example. So users, we use this Susanna Summer example. She just subscribes to a newsletter in our website. At that point, we're able to profile that Susanna Summer according to what she does in our website, how she interacts with Marketing Cloud campaigns, and how she interacts with digital advertising campaigns. So for example, we use something which we call tags. They are just flags of interest. Everything we do, by the way, you don't need to write any code. Okay, it's very easy to implement, which is one of the main advantages of our solution. So the typical tags are about products or interest, but also campaign interactions, form engagement, and we can qualify in or qualify out. For example, if someone goes often on the career page or whatever, probably they are not a potential customer, they are a job seeker. It's useful to know that. So why this kind of information useful? Well, on the marketing side, you can use this kind of profile and qualification for, of course, better segmentation and personalization of Marketing Cloud campaigns. I'm sure you guys have a lot of ideas about how to use this kind of data, but if there is a question, I will be happy to answer. Then it's useful for sales as well. So again, I mentioned we are integrated with Marketing Cloud, but also with Sales Cloud, and we can be a bridge to help the alignment. So sales insights are natively present inside Salesforce CRM, and they are very useful for the sales team. Then again, segmentation, personalization, creativity, sales reporting, data is native inside Salesforce CRM. You can report on everything we collect. This is useful for sales to increase conversion as well. So on the marketing side, I mentioned you can use dynamic content in Marketing Cloud to segment and also to personalize Marketing Cloud journeys and Marketing Cloud campaigns. So this is an example from the retail customer using SalesWings to change the content according to the interest from the user. Then again, I mentioned we are all about lead management, lead tracking, and lead scoring. So we are very specialized on lead scoring. We have 3 types of scoring systems. It's a multiple scoring system, by the way. The first one is predictive. So it's an algorithm we developed, and it answers a question about urgency. So it's all about quantity of engagement. And it's useful to see how engaged a user, a lead, a contact, and also an account is. The second type of score is the more traditional point-based score, sort of like what Pardot does, but there are some differences. In any case, we can add or subtract points, and according to different meaningful actions made by the user, to see if they're really interested to buy or not. The third dimension of a scoring is based on Sales Cloud. So it's a managed package inside Sales Cloud. It answers a different question. So are we as a company interested in this specific lead? Normally we use the role in the company, location, or dimension of the prospect, or other revenue, other information present in Sales Cloud. And all those leads are, all those scoring are combined. The final pillar is about data activation. For this is fundamental, our native integration, as I mentioned, with Marketing Cloud, which is done through data extensions. So it's a real-time integration. Again, to summarize, this is useful for behavioral marketing, segmentation, personalization, but also for marketing and sales alignment. Typical example is when to assign a lead, when to assign a lead to the sales team and to the right sales user in CRM. On the CRM side, so Sales Cloud, we are also integrated with Service Cloud and Communities, so Experience Cloud. But in any way, speaking about Sales Cloud, this is useful for prioritization, sales insights, and reporting. Here we have a managed package, so the integration is done every 10-15 minutes according to the amount of data and the specific installation. Important to say is that we can work also when the customer or prospect, when they use another CRM. So if they use a CRM which is not Salesforce, we can still provide all our value, only working with the Marketing Cloud, and we can speak about it, how we do it for the sales team. GDPR and privacy in general. So we get this question a lot. We are GDPR compliant. We use only first-party cookies. We don't use third-party data. That is very, very important. So actually, how the market is changing is going in the direction of first-party data, because that is data owned by the company. And what we do is just allow companies to use this data easily and in a meaningful way. It's consent-based, of course, so they need to accept cookies, and but I don't want to lie. So for every opportunity we have, there is a security review, which is part of the sales process, and we have always passed all security reviews, also for banks, insurance companies, or all around the world, by the way. So if we speak about the project, we develop the project directly with our customer success team, but more and more we work with consultancies. So we have a partner program. There is no time now to speak about it. But in general, it takes about 4 to maximum 8 weeks from the beginning to the end. That's a great advantage, because everybody knows in this sector, Marketing Cloud sometimes takes a lot. I mean, not a lot, but it's a very powerful tool. For sure, it's not possible to implement it in a matter of weeks, but SalesWings is, and that is very useful for Marketing Cloud projects, because we can show the customer real results and advantages in a matter, again, of weeks. So I mentioned before, I wanted to speak about potential customers, targets, and business cases. We have 3 main categories, let's say, of customers: B2B, B2B2C, and also direct to consumers. So for B2B, we work a lot in the manufacturing sector, but also life science, software, so other SaaS companies, consultancies as well. But in general, any B2B company using Marketing Cloud is a potential target for us. B2B companies, so even strong brands with distributors, retailers, resellers, they are potential customers of ours for the same reason. You know, Marketing Cloud has no capability about lead tracking, lead scoring, and marketing as sales alignment. Let's say it's weak in this part, and that is what we do. Sometimes we say we are the missing piece of the Marketing Cloud jigsaw. Okay. For direct to consumer companies, we work for real estate, luxury goods, and also education, especially in North America, to be honest. So every time there is a relationship with a consumer, but for high value services and products, because they have, again, a sales team internally. So I want to show you in a few minutes that I have a live demo. So first of all, I mentioned you don't need to write any line of codes for SalesWings. Here is our administration panel. Here you just set up tags and you set up scores with a drag and drop. And actually, it's not even drag and drop. You just write the name of the tag. You decide a description, a color. We normally suggest a color criteria. For example, red can be a very meaningful call to action, while, I don't know, green, it's an interest on a product, etc., etc. And then the rules are easy to implement. So you just click here, plus you can add all or any. So it's a or and an rule. Then you decide how to set up the condition for the interest. So the tags, it can be a website visit. Normally it's visited URL contains a specific text. And you can also say they visited this page more than even one time is enough, or you want them to land on that page for 3 times before giving the tag. The same goes for, again, digital advertising campaigns, interaction, marketing cloud campaigns, interaction, and any other actually custom event we can collect as well. We have no time now to go in further details probably. So tags are very easy to implement and to set up. Actually, the project is not about technical activities, it's about consultancy. That is why we work so well with consultancies. For the score, it's very similar. So again, you decide a name, you decide a description, a color, and then you add or subtract, deduct points according to meaningful actions. So here it's an example. If they visited this URL, you add 3 points. If they visited, if they are tagged with those tags, you add 7 points, etc., etc., and then you can also deduct points. So let me show you in the few minutes we have got some examples in Sales Cloud and Marketing Cloud. So a typical business case is about lead prioritization. We push data to leads, contacts, but also to accounts and opportunities. That is important. So also ABM, account-based marketing is another example. But if we speak about contacts, salespeople, sales teams, they often complain that it's hard to prioritize. So especially again in some sectors, they have a lot of leads, they don't know who to call, they don't follow up enough, then they complain with marketing sales alignment doesn't work well, etc., etc. So this is a typical list of contacts or leads. But what we do is providing a list like this one, which is very easy to filter actually. So we give data like last time of visit here, and you can filter based on this one, but also the predictive score. So again, the quantity of engagement, it's very easy for, you know, user adoption is always a problem, but here everything is easy to understand for everybody in the CRM. So predictive score, you can filter according to the predictive score or the point-based score or the fit score, which is the third dimension of scoring. Customers really appreciate this. In general, how data is shown, we can set up Salesforce in different ways because data is native. But a typical example is this one. So we use our, this is our managed package, just installing it. It will have the fields, but also this visual force page, publishing the lead intent, the tags, here is the lead intent summary. So what that lead was doing on the website, on, you know, interaction with campaigns. For example, this one you see UTM, etc., etc., but also the activity history. We can collect data for years. So again, the CRM user can see the interest, the tags, the scores, the activity history of a person. Then I mentioned data is native. So here tags are natively present as well as scores. I mentioned ABM marketing. Yeah, again, lists. We just combine and we can set it up. We combine different contacts, scores into the account for the same reason, to prioritize at the account level. Here is another example about reporting. So data is native in Sales Cloud. You can report on tags, so interest, scores. You can report on a lead source. We also provide a basic attribution solution in this sense. Okay, we are not Datorama, of course, but a lot of customers do use SalesWings in this way. So those are just examples. For example, contacts by predictive score or contacts by point lead score. And again, ABM marketing. There should be some inactive account, reactivation of an inactive account and contact. It's another use case. Here you will see attribution reports around topics or campaigns, and campaigns, sorry, lead source. And here another one about inactive contacts. Those are just examples, of course. What I wanted to show you, and I have just a few minutes, is the integration on the Marketing Cloud side. So I mentioned data is natively present, updated in real time through data extensions. So here is the main extensions extension of SalesWings. If I click here, I see something like this one. Normally the match is done by email, okay? And all our data, including custom attributes, so we don't have time for it now. But anyway, all our data is present in Marketing Cloud. What it means, I'm sure you know already, but it means you can use it again for segmentation, personalization, but also in customer journeys. So for example, here, I want to split a user because they are a job seeker, I can do it. I want to divide the communications and the customer journey according to the lead score and the interest, I can do it. So I click here and something like that appears. I will see that I want to differentiate the customer journey, sending communication only to contacts, subscribers with a specific score greater than 49. It's just an example. Predictive score hot, and tags containing specific interest. Again, if you want to filter, you just click here, content data, you go to our main data extension, and here you can filter using our data. So I think as an overview, of course, I'm done, and I will be happy to answer any question. And thank you. Yeah. I can't hear you.
Sorry. Thank you very much, Davide. If you have any questions, please raise your hands or post your questions in the chat window. In the meanwhile, as we have 5 minutes, I will maybe start with mine. So the pricing and the licenses, could you also share how it looks from your perspective? It would be definitely something interesting to know.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, good question. And I should have mentioned it. So we have basically three main criteria, parameters to price a project and the licenses. So the first one is, again, the project. So it depends if we implement or if our partner implements, or if it's a combination of the two. But in any case, we need to understand the perimeter. And that is one parameter. The second one is about the number of users inside Sales Cloud, because again, we provide a managed package. So for every user that wants to have access to our managed package and our data, they will need to purchase a license. Normally, it's a subset of all the CRM users, normally the salespeople. Okay, that is the second parameter. The third parameter is about the website visitors / new leads per month. So website visitors per month provides us an indication for our, let's say, architecture and storage. That is the third parameter. In general, we are a light lift, and we are perceived compared with the Marketing Cloud. Of course, we are very, very cheap. But then again, I believe we provide a lot of value. So normally pricing is not a problem for the customer, to be honest.
And Davide, is the pricing and licenses available on your website, or this is something you need to contact sales representative to get more information?
Yeah, normally we have, of course, a price list, but we price it together with the partner and the prospect. Normally, we need to check some aspects. Now we don't have enough time, but before providing the pricing, we really want to speak with the customer. Also, to be sure, again, retention is our first number one metric. We want to be sure that we are a good fit for the customer.
Sure. Thank you for answering that. I don't see any questions coming from the audience, so maybe I will continue with mine. So as you presented the solution, and it looks really robust and having many functionalities, do you provide any trainings for the end users?
Yeah, so we provide any if we implement directly, we do everything by ourselves. Otherwise, again, we have partners. But here, if you see, this is a simplified version of the various steps, and training is part of the process. It's very easy for the users. What we train more is the administrator of SalesWings within the customer, so that they will know how to implement new tags and to change, modify, or add new scores. So again, they don't need to write any code, but we train them about that. For the salespeople and the marketing people, data is native, so yeah, we train them, but it's very easy.
Mm-hmm. Sure. So these are your internal materials, but do you have something like, we are all familiar with the way that Salesforce teaches us. So we all, use the Trailheads environment and so on. So do you have any that kind of interactive courses, or it's more, I would say, internal materials like PowerPoints, PDFs, and so on that you need to go through as the end user?
Very interesting point. By the way, my role here is partner manager, and one of the tasks I have is to build a Trailhead process and training. At the moment, we don't have it. We have a training in our resource. We have resources on our website, and an onboarding process, which is very appreciated by the customers. But no, we don't have it in Trailhead at the moment.
Sure, thank you. So maybe, yeah, I see that it's already 7, so I don't want to take more of your time. Although I could continue with my questions. So if any of the participants would like to ask you questions, then Davide, maybe it would be great to share also your contacts. I don't know if you have any slide with your email.
Well,
maybe you can post it in the chat window. So if anybody is interested and would like to talk to you, then they can easily reach out to you.
For sure. Actually, just so you know, I measure by the amount of opportunities I'm able to create with the channel. So I will be always available for everybody who needs just information and yeah, clarifications, everything. Jokes apart, I will be really available, and it's a pleasure actually. Thank you again for this opportunity.
Thank you very much, Davide. So now I see that our next guest speaker is already present. So I will now, Davide, remove you as the panelist. And
thank you again.
Okay. And now allow me to present you Michael Gentleman. I will promote you to the panelist. Permission. Hi, Michael.
Hi, Maciej. I have one person that's joined me as joining me as well. Jesse Fiorito. I don't know if he has joined.
Yes, I see him. So do you want me to make him the panelist?
Well, the way that we were going to do it is I'm going to run through the slides, and then I was going to turn it over to him to actually just do a quick demo.
Sure. So when you are ready, I will make just the panelist, so he will be able to present it. So the stage is yours. We are recording the meeting because then we would like to include the recording in the summary of the event. So participants of this meeting will have an access to it, but also anybody from Salesforce ecosystem who's interested in Bynder, they will be able to play this video and learn more. So the stage is yours. Thank you.
Well, thank you for having us on and for providing us the opportunity to present. Good evening, everybody. By way of introduction, I'm Michael Gentleman. I'm on the partnership team here at Bynder, and primarily I manage our partnership with Salesforce. And so as a Salesforce partner, that obviously it's a big company, and DAM has been a white space for Salesforce in terms of the product offerings that they have, and so it's been a really exciting partnership for us and very strategic for us here at Bynder. I'm also joined by Jesse Fiorito, who is on the solutions engineering team, and he is going to run through a very quick demo of Bynder and mainly focus on the connector that we have with Salesforce Marketing Cloud. So quick agenda for what I'm going to cover today. We're going to run through a couple of slides about Bynder. We'll talk about the connected ecosystem and how DAM plays an integral role there. I'll talk a little bit about the partnership that we have with Salesforce, and then we can jump into a demo after that. And then if there's, we'll save a few minutes at the end for any questions that come up, but we're happy to address any questions along the way as well. I usually like to keep these things interactive. So happy to answer at the end or as we are going through the presentation as well. So Bynder, we are the leading cloud-based digital asset management provider. We've been around since 2013, over 2,400 customers, closing in on 2,500 customers globally. I think we added 450 last year, if I'm not mistaken. And we have 500 employees that are located across 8 offices globally. We are based out of Amsterdam. We have offices in Amsterdam, Rotterdam, London, Barcelona, in EMEA, as well as the Middle East. And then in the US, we have offices in Boston and San Mateo. I'm located in, Jesse and I are both located in Boston. And then we are opening an office down in Melbourne, Australia in 2 months, I believe is the target date. We're hoping to have that office open by April 1st. And we are a leader in the Forrester Wave as well. We're one of the leading companies for a DAM provider in that space. We work with customers across all verticals. Really, if you had asked us a couple of years ago who are top, the top verticals that we work with, we would have told you consumer brands, technology, manufacturing, and travel. But healthcare and financial and insurance brands are probably 2 of our fastest growing verticals that we've seen the last 1.5 to 2 years as they've really embraced cloud-based solutions. But any company that has a requirement to manage and distribute their digital assets from a central location is a potential customer of Bynder. We work with customers across every single vertical that's out there, from government all the way down to education and in between. So how do we make a difference for our customers? What are the typical use cases where Bynder comes into play? The big thing is helping to improve the digital experience. The big thing is that we see with companies as they're looking at digital transformation initiatives, and that's been accelerated with COVID, is having the ability to support personalization at scale. Being able to do that is being able to bring content, new pieces of content, or reusing content and bringing those to market to use in any customer-facing experience very quickly. Some other initiatives that we typically see are when companies have mergers and acquisitions and they're going to be rebranding. Those tend to be use cases that DAM comes in to be very useful because having all of your assets in a single location makes it very easy to make those changes and ensure that all of that is being pushed down to the rest of the organization. We help customers with cost and efficiency, scaling out there. Every company is going to be cognizant of being able to manage profit and margins as much as possible. And we do a really good job of doing that with our customers. Scaling organizations, a lot of customers that we've been signing over this past year have been very high growth brands, across both North America and EMEA. And then obviously expansion. We have some customer examples on the right-hand side. I won't go into detail on all of these on some of what our customers have seen when moving to Bynder. And we have a number of these, and we have a case study section of our website that has, I think dozens of case studies and customer success stories that you can read up on how we've helped those customers to, since they've started working with Bynder. So we talk about DAM, and DAM is at the core of what we do, but we help our customers with the end-to-end asset lifecycle. And so we have different modules and different tools available that are built on top of Bynder to help with that process. So everything from templating solutions, we have print templates, digital templates, allowing non-technical users to create different variations of assets for reuse, localization, while making sure that those assets are always on brand. We have a video templating solution as well. We have something called brand guidelines, allowing companies to manage all assets of their brand, all aspects of their brand or brands as part of the DAM solution, rather than the traditional way to do that, which was having a PDF that needed to be updated, periodically throughout the year or once a year. We have creative workflow It's really a collaboration tool for users internally to be able to create and manage the creative process of getting new assets into the DAM. And then obviously we have integrations. A lot of what we've seen and what we'll talk about today is the connected ecosystem, moving towards the digital economy. And being able to support that. So we have a very robust network of integrations that we provide out of the box, as well as an open API to build custom integrations, because not all out of the box integrations are a one size fits all. And then we have a new feature that we've released in the last year called dynamic asset transformation, which is probably more commonly known as on-the-fly derivatives, but really allows for image transformation to be done in real time as an individual is engaging with a website and making sure that the image is scaled to the exact measurements that that someone would need based on the type of device that they're engaging with your brand on. And this just kind of talks a little bit more about DAT and the benefits. The real benefit is website performance. And we've heard this from our customers. We've heard this from agencies that have been working with those customers to get this implemented. And so, it's his cost savings in terms of the manpower, but also the website performance is a big thing. So I mentioned the connected ecosystem, and what we look at is we really see the current situation with everything that has happened with COVID. Obviously, there's been a lot of challenges for folks across the globe, but on the from a technology side, we've seen it really accelerate companies looking at digital transformation initiatives, because we really have seen things moving to a digital first economy. And the challenges that companies had keeping up with this, became evident back in 2020 when everything was being shut down for COVID reasons. And people being remote and teams being able to collaborate. And so there's really been a push to this digital first economy and the connected ecosystem, and really kind of seeing all of those customer facing technologies being able to be stitched together very easily and interacting, so to be able to do more with less, essentially. And so we look at it, when I think of Salesforce in a like solution that whenever I talk to Salesforce reps, one of the things that we liken to one of the products that they're selling is their CDP, where that's the central source of truth for all of your customer data and supporting customer 360. Where Bynder comes in is we become the central source of truth for all of your digital assets, one single location for internal users, external users to be able to go and find all marketing approved assets, for the marketing team to be able to collaborate and make sure all those assets are being updated there, and then sharing those either with third party with integrated solutions, things like marketing automation, any type of web facing, customer facing website, e-commerce, or CMS or whatever. And then obviously with other channels as well, where those assets would be shared, whether that's through social, sales enablement, and again, I mentioned internal and external sharing. And that's more of just a generic type of slide, but this is a specific example of a customer who is using Bynder, who went from a situation where they had assets sitting on multiple DAMs. They had multiple folders that they were using internally. They were using Box and a few other areas where they were storing assets all over the place. Everything was completely siloed. And as part of their content engine initiative that they have, which is moving towards centralizing everything, Bynder is the source of truth for all of their assets for all of their 36 brands that this particular company has. And you can see from this mapping here that you have all of your upstream integrations, which will be pushing content into the DAM, and then the DAM will be talking to all the downstream technology solutions that they have in place. This includes all web properties and CMS solutions, e-commerce solutions, their PIM, Salesforce Marketing Cloud is included in this as their marketing automation tool, along with other integrations that they will be either using out of the box or building custom integrations to downstream. We have another example for a customer here that it has a little bit of a different setup, but again, DAM is at the center of what they're doing, integrated tightly with their PIM, and then tying all that and pushing out that content from Bynder to their websites, to Salesforce Marketing Cloud for email marketing automation. And they have other solutions in place as well to support all of their different brands. But just kind of a similar slide to what we showed earlier, just a little bit of a different layout in terms of their own internal architecture. Every company is a little bit different when it comes to that, but similar solutions that are being used. So partnership that we have with Salesforce, it's a multi-phased partnership approach that we had. We kicked it off with an integration into Marketing Cloud to the Email Creative Studio, which we'll demo here shortly. That went live onto the AppExchange back in, I want to say, November 2020. And then we have additional integration points that we are in the process of building out. So we have a Commerce Cloud connector guide that's in security review right now. It's not an out-of-the-box connector. It is a guide to build because most of our customers all have different needs, and an out-of-the-box integration was not the best approach. So that is in security review right now. We also have a core Lightning Web Component integration that is in development that will be compatible with Sales Cloud, Service Cloud, and App Builder. Basically anywhere where you can pull assets in through a Lightning Web Component within the core platform is an area where we'd be able to integrate Bynder. Now, the connector itself to Marketing Cloud, and we'll get into this and show you a live demo of this, but it is basically to use it, to be able to set this up within Salesforce, and you go into the email creative template, you're just going to grab a Bynder custom content block and drag that onto the template where you want that asset to live on to be used in the template, and then it'll give you a peek into the assets that are in Bynder, and you'll be able to pull that in, do everything that you need to do to scale that that asset, and then obviously continue on with creating the template. The benefit is if anything is updated in Bynder, it will automatically update in the in the template where it's being used. You wouldn't have to go in and make any changes into Salesforce Marketing Cloud to use the updated piece of content that was used in the template build. And so that's what I have for slides today. So I'm going to kick it over to Jesse to run through a brief demo.
Let me promote just to panelist. Yeah.
Great. Thanks, Mike. And hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Great. Excellent. So hi, everyone. My name is Jesse Fiorito. I'm a solutions engineer here at Bynder. A little bit about me. I've been with the organization for over 5 years. Prior to this, I was actually on the onboarding implementation team where I helped over 100 organizations get Bynder up and running. As Michael said, Bynder is the leading DAM platform that enables teams to collaborate in the cloud, get content to market faster, and maximize the impact of marketing assets. So Bynder's core focus is making content discoverable to users, giving them multiple pathways to assets. What we're going to do is talk briefly about the search functionality, just because that'll lead into the Marketing Cloud connector and just give you a basis for what we're looking at. So we'll head over to the asset bank and navigate to kind of the core of the Bynder platform, which is the central repository for all of our content. So you'll see here the assets themselves are represented by tiles. So let's start with the most important feature, which is search. So I want to show you how easy it is to locate content that's relevant to you through a variety of different avenues. So the first place that users will naturally gravitate to as part of their first visit to Bynder is going to be the search bar. And it's prominently displayed at the top of the screen. And as you can see, as I type in, it'll give me spotlight search results. So this will mirror kind of the different search avenues, some of the different search avenues we have, whether it's searching across the title, description, across other modules and collections, which are curated groups of assets. This will also search inline text to PDF documents, for example. You may recognize the setup of this page as it mirrors the layout of many popular e-commerce sites. So this allows users to feel at home when navigating around the portal and allows for that intuitive nature of things to come up. Below that, another way to search for assets is going to be using these drop-down menus, which we call smart filters. Users can apply or repeal any of the filters in any order. So for example, if I wanted to browse assets to a specific region, for example, I can go ahead and I can filter down and my results will only show me assets that have that particular criteria applied to it. And likewise, if I wanted to take this a step further and filter to the remaining assets by a specific channel, I can go and I can apply these filters as I need and then repeal them in just the same way. As a matter of note, the metadata structure, which we call in Bynder, which is what we call a taxonomy, is scalable by design. We expect for new options, additional fields to be added over time, allowing the Bynder environment to grow alongside the user's organization. We can also bulk action items here. So if I highlight them, you can see I can edit, share, delete, and download some of my assets. And then the last feature I wanted to briefly show was the upload functionality. We have that upload media button in the upper right-hand corner, or we can simply just drag and drop assets into our front-end uploader, which is where we'll upload those assets with the metadata so that they can be discovered later. So this is a great tool that allows for bulk tagging of assets as well as individualization. So I can use my sidebar to bulk tag assets, or simply just use the individual boxes on the assets. Transitioning over to our Salesforce Marketing Cloud environment, the connector allows users to leverage Bynder content in several areas of the Marketing Cloud, namely Email Studio, content blocks, and journey builders. We'll head into the former and demonstrate how assets can be Bynder assets can be added as part of a mass email. So you can see I'm editing my email here. On my sidebar, I'll have all of my content blocks. You'll see here at the bottom in the custom section, I have a custom Bynder block. Users can drag and drop that into the editing workspace. And what we'll see is on the right, a compact view window will open, and this will allow our users to select an asset from the Bynder environment. So what you'll see here is that this mirrors the layout of the Bynder portal one-to-one, right? So I have my smart filters, I have my search bar, and I have my tags. I can also access assets that are in a collection. Once the asset is selected, it'll allow me to choose it from the original base level high resolution asset or a downscaled rendition. If I try to select that base image, for example, it's going to tell me that it's too big. I'll go ahead and select one of those downscaled images. And from here, you can see I have the ability to, of course, crop and edit an image as needed. If I needed to use a selected piece of that content as part of that image, part of that email. So the process here is consistent as it is with other areas of Marketing Cloud. In regards to Email Studio and how this functionality plays out in Journey Builder and custom content blocks, and essentially any place that you can use a content block, you can leverage a Bynder image. So thank you for following along as we walk through the core Bynder DAM functionality and how it's replicated within the Salesforce Marketing Cloud connector. With that in mind, I will open up the floor to Q&A about either part of the platform.
Thank you very much. So again, if you have any questions, please raise your hands or post your questions in the chat window. In the meantime, I may ask some of my questions. So the one that I'm always interested in is to understand the pricing and the licenses. I know that everybody loves such questions, but actually it's quite important for everybody. So to understand what's the pricing and licenses approach.
Yeah, so the pricing approach is based on a couple of different factors. We have the modules that are that somebody's going to be licensing. So we have customers that will just license the core DAM. Then we look at the number and type of users. So we have 3 different types of users you can use in Bynder. You have your admins, which have access to everything. You have regular users, which are contributors. They can create assets, upload assets, edit assets, share assets. And then you have your light users. Light users are people who can go in, they can share assets, they can download assets, and that they can upload assets as well, but that has to go through permissioning in order to get installed into the DAM. Pricing ranges at the low end is $18,000 per year is our list pricing, and then it goes up from there. I mean, if we took a look at our customer base, it can range anywhere from right around $18,000 per year all the way up to customers that are paying a couple $100,000 a year that are large global corporations that are using us across the entire globe.
Mm-hmm. And the fee is not only for the solution itself, but also for the AppExchange application, because if I remember correctly, there is also a fee for using the AppExchange app, right?
Yeah, there is a separate fee for the integration as well. So that was just the license, and then the integration, the Salesforce integration, the list price there is 10K per year.
Okay, thank you. So the other question, which might be interesting for everybody, is also in terms of integration with Marketing Cloud. So when we use multiple business units with different structure, with child business units, when we integrate, can we select with which business units we would like to use Bynder? How it works? Like, are we integrating with all the business units that are available in our environment, or only with selected ones?
So I can speak a little bit to this. Yeah. So where we see Bynder used as kind of a multi-tenant solution, we use the metadata as a lever there, right? So when you are using the Salesforce Marketing Cloud connector, you're going to be a logged in Bynder user through that compact view, of course, and all the permissions that you would have within the core Bynder application would come through in the compact view, right? So if you were part of a sub brand of a larger company, and the filtering of the metadata reflected that, when you go in to retrieve assets, you're only going to be able to see assets that are relevant to you. So that and there was a couple different levers that we have there, but that's the most common one we see in that use case.
Sure. And just wondering how far the integration actually goes. So if there is a Einstein content selection functionality in Marketing Cloud, which is used to actually optimize the images that would be used in email marketing communication, does Bynder in any way collaborate with this functionality, or they are basically separate?
I would say that this is probably where we see dynamic asset transformation come in. So if the Salesforce Marketing Cloud was configured to retrieve certain images in a certain optimization, the dynamic asset transformation would send that optimized image in the requested format.
I was referring to Einstein content selection because, like, from marketer's perspective, this is quite a useful solution when you are actually allowed to set the expiration date of the assets. So it helps marketers to actually manage which assets can be used by the channel managers, and also it gives some insights on which assets are actually performing better than the others, and select the winning asset. So you don't have to have this endless discussions which picture would be better, which picture should be used in the email communication. You just can select the range of the images and then let artificial intelligence to select the winner.
Yeah. And I could talk to a little bit about that. There are a couple of components that I want to chat about. So we talked about the metadata filtering as a means of showing content to the right users. The other levers that we have in terms of advanced rights, archive date, a limited usage date. So we have reveal and sunrise and sunset dates, watermarking assets as a means of requesting content. And then one thing that Michael mentioned earlier in his presentation is automatic invalidation, right? So if I were to upload a new version of an asset to Bynder, that newest version is what's going to be pushed to that end location that we had put our original image at. So in terms of invalidating links or expiring content, that's inherently native to the platform.
Sure, thank you. So probably one of my last questions is about the roadmap. As Salesforce Marketing Cloud ecosystem is growing, and now it's not only Marketing Cloud itself, but also other solutions. For instance, Interaction Studio. Do you have in your plans integrations with them, or if you could share your point of view on that?
Yeah, this comes up in some conversations that we have with Salesforce AEs and SEs, and we don't have an integration to it right now. We don't have a roadmap for that integration to be built, and the reason why is we understand the way that particular product works and the way that it stores. Obviously it's tracking identified and non-identified users, what they're looking at on a website, and it basically creates its own little content library that's going to redisplay back to that individual based on what they've looked at, right? To personalize that particular page. we haven't seen a use case come up where Bynder would need to integrate directly to Interaction Studio, because if it's being used, and basically the way that a lot of these integrations work is it uses a reference link to Bynder, and we're serving up that content through a CDN. So if the reference link is already in there and there's an update to that asset, it will automatically display that updated asset anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so there's usually a back way that we integrate to make it work.
It can be a troublesome just to to search through the assets and collect those links and then paste them into Interaction Studio. I hope that it will be enhanced at some point of time, because right now it's I would say a very basic approach to to sharing assets through Interaction Studio. Yeah. So the last question, and I always ask our guest speakers to share it. If anybody is interested, like from the participants of this call or people who would view the video afterwards, how they can stay in touch with you, how they could contact you in case they have any further questions.
Yeah, if anybody is interested, you can contact myself or Jesse directly. We'll share I'll create a PDF of the presentation, and our email addresses are in there. But my email address is fairly easy to remember: michael.gentleman@bynder.com.
Thank you very much. Okay.
And likewise, mine follows that same convention: jesse.fiorito@bynder.com.
Thank you. So as we are, I believe, actually on time, then thank you very much, Michael. Thank you very much, Jess, for this presentation. It was a pleasure to meet you and host you here. I will definitely recommend my fellow colleagues from other local communities to invite you to their events and share the knowledge on how your solution works. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much for having us.
Good evening.
Good to meet you.
Thank you for your time today.
Bye.
Bye.